Changes at the top of America's big businesses. Pfizer CEO Jeffrey Kindler announced he's stepping down today after holding the top seat for 4 years. Kellogg CEO David McKay announced his retirement as well today. So what does this mean? I mean, are we going to start to see a lot more of this? Is this unusual? Bill George joins us, former Medtronic chairman and CEO and Harvard Business School management practice professor, also on the board at Goldman, and Jeff Seinfeld, Yale School of Management associate dean and CNBC contributor. Okay, great to have both of you with us. Bill George, let me ask you this. Is this something that usually happens this time of year, that we see these kinds of changes, or is this a signal of something else?
Not this way. I was out at Nordstrom shopping for my wife's Christmas present. I got the word about Jeff Kindler, and I've worked with Jeff, worked with his management team. I was very surprised. His very honest, deeply honest comments, I think, Aaron, indicate the changes that CEOs are feeling today. The pressures are enormous. It's 24/7. And I think a company like Pfizer that has very long lead times just can't produce new drugs to replace Lipitor. And so there's a lot of investor pressures, but it's very hard to respond to that. And I was very surprised with David McKay as well. These guys are both 55 years old. They're young people with a lot of talent, been in office less than 5 years. And so I think we're seeing somewhat of a sea change in attitudes and challenges about this job. It's not like when I was CEO and we had the wind at our backs in the 90s.
Jeff Seinfeld, what's your take on that? Because it sounds like what Bill's leaning towards is you're burning out young, talented people. It's not as if you're getting rid of the bad ones here, that maybe all this focus on management is causing us to lose good talent.
No, in recent years we have seen young CEOs, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm considering late 50s to be young, mid-50s to be very young. Steve Sanger at General Mills, Steve Reinemann at PepsiCo before him, stepping out pretty young in office. But this last weekend's carnage, I agree with Bill, is especially disappointing. A company like Pfizer, where they were doing a lot of things right in a painful transition. Here's a CEO who was handed a very bad deck of cards, very bad hand, with the reliance on Lipitor, with some large inherited lawsuits. The Wyeth merger was a brilliant move. He's created the world's largest pharmaceutical company based here in the U.S., but these kinds of things aren't going to pay out in the next few hours. And the short-termism in our markets that has a wilting pressure, I agree with so much. It wasn't easy when Bill was there, and Bill, I think it's gotten even harder since you escaped.
Bill, are we getting, though, who's going to replace? I mean, I'm not asking you to weigh in on, the replacements in these two cases, but in general, if you're losing good talent, I mean, is it possible, in your role as a board member, do you think, to find great talent of people who want these jobs and are willing to put up with the scrutiny, in many cases personal?
Well, the good news, Aaron, is that boards have now recognized they have to develop talent from within, and companies are doing that. They're having the talent coming up. That's really good news. I was very much opposed to the idea of let's go out and find a rock star CEO like Bob Nardelli to come into a company like Home Depot and doesn't understand the business. So the people coming in do understand the business. I think we need to look at a lot longer tenure, because the tenure now is shorter than the lead time. And I think investors need to look at this differently and not just demand short-term results. Yes, Ed Whitaker did a brilliant job at General Motors, but look at what Mullally's done at Ford over 4 years. We need to give people a little more time to get the job done and cut them a little slack, I think.
I think that's exactly right. They need a little bit more time. 4 years is certainly not enough for this kind of a massive transformation. And promoting people from within is critical. We're seeing boards are awakening right now. They've been asleep for a while at Lehman Brothers, at Bear Stearns. They should have been asking questions about the quality of their leadership, and they weren't questioning it. But now they've awakened, and some of them have a little too much caffeine in them, and they're overreacting. As we saw with the moves at General Motors, at Office Depot a few weeks ago, and now here with Pfizer. These are way overreactions, and maybe the CEOs needed some help, but this wasn't the coaching they needed.
All right, Bill, Jeff, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Viewers, please weigh in. Street Signs at CNBC.com.